What's up, hot chicks? Welcome to this week's episode of Do Life in a Body You Love. And we're going to jump down the mindset rabbit hole this week. So I know you guys get sick of hearing me say that weight loss is all about mindset. The food, that part's easy. I can tell you what to eat. Eating, it's not easy, right? Like that's where most of our hang up comes. I can tell you how to work out. Doesn't mean you're going to do it. It's all about your mindset. And so today I want to give you guys 4 journal prompts that you can use that will totally transform things for you. Okay. Here's the thing about journal prompts. First of all, you don't actually have to journal them if you don't want. You can look at these as more of like a thought exercise. I know some of my clients hate journaling. And so instead for them, we think of these as like talking points for themselves. Like here, talk through these things. But if you can put pen to paper, it actually helps you think. So, or if you can talk it out with somebody, like the human brain processes and thinks very well in written, or not in written, but verbally, okay, in words. And so getting words out of your brain helps you think. So I'm going to call them journal prompts, but just understand that you can kind of use these however you want. But here's the deal. They don't work if you don't do them. You listening to me talk about these 4 questions is not going to change anything for you. And a lot of these you have to do over and over and over. So people will tell me like, well, I've already done that one. You've all already done probably the first one. And all of you for sure done the second one. If you've been following me for any length of time and you haven't done number 2, then you just don't do any of the things that we talk about here. The third one and the fourth one, you have done, maybe you haven't, but here's the deal. Some people will say, well, I've already done that. And it's like, yes, but for us to continue to grow, which is what weight loss is. Here's the trick about losing weight. It's really a forever personal development journey. If you want to look at it that way, it's constantly up leveling. It's constantly changing how we view ourselves, how we're interacting with the world, how we're managing our time, how we're feeding ourselves. And we just get better and better and better over time, right? It's like when you walk into the gym, you don't just run right over to the barbell, put 200 pounds on it and try to back squat. I mean, maybe you do, but you should not just start there. But if you go on a regular basis, you build the skills, you learn technique, your muscle grows, and then you can handle more volume, right? Well, our brains are the same way. So the magic of like a journal prompt is not that like it's some sort of an essay question and you just like sit down and answer at one time, which if this is how you've journaled before, then trust me, I'm not judging you. This is how I used to handle it. I would be like, okay, cool. One of my coaches gave me a journal prompt. Did it, crushed it. It was really great. And then I never go back to it again. It's very rare that like you're going to like journal on a topic one time and it's going to be like, oh, I mean, sometimes we just need some awareness. And in that case, maybe this will be life-changing from one time. But if you're really trying to work through some junk in your brain, you're going to have to keep going at it, sister. It's not going to be a one and done. So here are the 4 things. Okay. Number 1, what do you even want, sister? Okay. This does not have to be about weight. You guys know I'm going to talk about weight mostly because that's what's always fresh in my brain because that's what I talk to my clients about all day long. But this can apply to anything. And I would challenge you the next time that you have some quiet time, quiet time, like you ever have any of that. But if you do, I'm going to challenge you to sit and ponder, what is it that you want? What do you even want? A lot of times we don't know. When I first ask people that, they look at me like I'm a crazy person. Like, why would you even ask me what I want? Of course I know what I want. But then when they get thinking about it, it's like, oh, I don't know what I want. Or conversely, some people I'm like, what do you do for fun? And they're like, what? Well, 20 years ago, I used to golf. Like, it's like we've been on autopilot for so long, taking care of everybody else. We don't know what we do for fun. We don't know what things we want. What do you want out of life? What do you want out of your relationships? What do you want for your health? What do you want for your body? Here's the deal with health, especially if you're not actively trying to at least keep your health where it is, you're losing it every day. And it's a slow and painful death. It is like a frog in the boiling water, or whatever that analogy is, right? We don't see it happening. We notice it all of a sudden. Like, I always joke around that, like, I somehow magically like put on all of my weight overnight. I just woke up one day and I was like, wow, how did I get in this body? Well, we all know that that's not actually how it happens, right? It all happens slow and steady. We don't see the plaque building up in our arteries, but it's happening from the time we're children until we reach the time where we have a heart attack. We don't see that our bones are deteriorating because we never pick up anything heavy, and we've went through menopause and our estrogen has dropped and now we have osteoporosis. Like, we don't see these things happening, and they happen so slow that if we're not cognizant of what it is that we want, we're slowly getting further and further and further away from the health that we all do want. So you have to sit and look at, what do I want? And then define it further. So if you say, I want to be healthy, or if you say, I want to age well, or if you say, I want to lose weight, okay, the weight loss one, that's a little bit easier because most women have like a pant size in mind or a number on the scale or something like that. But like, I want to be healthy, that's a lot more vague. So a question that I have asked my clients in the past is, I'll go, okay, well, what does healthy mean to you? Because healthy is a spectrum, right? It's not either you have health or you do not have health. It's, I can be healthier than I am today, or I could be less healthy than I am today. It's a continuum. Where do you want to fall on that continuum? So what does healthy look like for you? If you're like, I want to lose weight, I want to be healthy, I want to be fit, even fitness, that has varying definitions. So for like the longest time, I could never do a pull-up. And that was like, I really just didn't think that my body was able to do a pull-up. I'd never done one in my life. I was never even close. I would just hang from the bar and my elbows wouldn't even move. It would just be like, and somebody would be like, okay, now do the pull-up. And I'm like, no, this is literally me trying, just hanging from the bar. So that was like an ideal of fitness that I had, right? So then I got my pull-up. Now, probably never going to master a muscle up. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's these different things that we have in our brain of what is healthy, what is fit, what is lean, how lean is lean? You want to get lean. How lean is that? Do you mean you want to be able to button your current pants and not have a muffin top? Or do you mean you want to have a 6-pack, not of beer, of abs, and rock those on the boat next summer? Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It matters what you say it is. What does healthy mean for you? Does aging well mean that you are free from disease? Or does aging well mean that you're free from disease and you have mobility and you can go for a walk and not be short of breath? And maybe you can even go up a flight of stairs, and maybe you can get on the floor and get back up without needing help. I don't know. What does it mean? So, wow, I really did not think I was going to be able to talk about the first journal prompt so long. This episode might be a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, ladies. Thought this was going to be like 5 minutes. Yeah, right. I always talk too much. Okay. Number 1, what do you want? Number 2, why do you want it? This is the one here. If you guys have done any of our challenges, I'm always like, why do you want the things that you want? So you guys know, sorry if I'm coughing a lot. It's a terrible air quality day because of the Canadian fires, and I'm in Michigan. And so the air quality right now is trash. But anyways, why do you want the things that you want? This is very important because sometimes we want things that we don't actually want. We want things because we were told that we should want them, or other people have them, or maybe we really do want the thing, but we've never really dove into why we want it so much. And we're keeping it very, very superficial. And when we're doing that, it's because we're trying not to get too real with ourselves. We don't want to be disappointed, whatever the thing is. But here's the deal. When you know what you want and you're crystal clear on why you want it and why it is so important, you are going to be a much more consistent person. This is the difference between I want to lose 20 pounds and I want to lose 20 pounds because I want to have sex with the lights on with my husband instead of hiding in the closet to change my clothes because I hate him seeing me naked. Now that was pretty specific, right? Or I want to lose 30 pounds. Okay, that's pretty vague. I want to lose maybe 30 pounds. I'm not really sure how much weight I want to lose, but I know that I want to lose enough where my knees don't hurt so bad and I can go on bicycle rides with my kids. Like, I don't know what your thing is. I want to be better with my money. Okay, that's pretty vague. I want to be more responsible with my money so that I can have this much money in my savings account, which is going to make me feel a lot more comfortable. And I'll feel like I'm being a better steward with my money. And there are charities that I want to be able to participate in that I really can't right now. Like, you're getting very specific. I want to be able to pay for my kids to go to college so that they don't have the student loan debt that I have, because it has been crushing me for half of my adult life. I don't know. I'm just making things up. I mean, maybe not the one about the student loan debt. That one might've been a little bit personal. But like, getting crystal clear on why it matters. Here's why it matters. Why? Okay. When you are just like, I want to lose 20 pounds. Then when you see tacos, you don't care about the 20 pounds, right? Tacos win over, I want to lose 20 pounds. And a lot of times stress in life will win over even anything that's aesthetic. So here's what happens. It is perfectly fine if your driver for health is aesthetic. That does not make you conceited. It does not make you shallow. I don't care what anybody says. It is perfectly fine for women to want to look and feel their best. And anybody who says otherwise, whatever. I'm not even going to go there. But when we get extremely stressed out, when life is throwing you a shit sandwich, and it inevitably will, in that moment, will you care how you're going to look in your jeans? Most likely not. You're going to go, okay, but today's a disaster, so I'm going to eat all of these donuts and I'll worry about it tomorrow. And then that keeps happening. But so if you use the aesthetic thing that you want to get you started, that's fine. But eventually, dig it in deeper. So this is where you go back to journal prompt number 2 over and over and over, because your why will actually change as you change in your journey. Okay. So when you start, it might be about how you look in your bathing suit on the boat, but then you start to lose a little bit of weight and you start to see how much better you feel. And you're like, whoa, I didn't know how unhealthy I felt until I started getting healthy. This is pretty crazy. Now you care a lot about health. Now, when you have a bad week with the scale, because newsflash, you will, unless you are doing something that is crashing your metabolism and completely unsustainable, then you're going to have weeks where the scale doesn't move. You're probably going to have weeks where the scale actually goes up and you're going to be like, but I did everything right. It's part of the journey. It's fine. Like, relax. If you're not seeing your goal, or if you're not seeing the progress you want to see, then obviously you need to change your plan. But like a bad day, or even like one bad week because it's your period week, like, I mean, like whatever, or you went on vacation or like whatever, these things aren't that big of a deal unless we make them a big deal. So if it's only about the scale and then the scale's not doing what you want, you're going to quit, right? We do it all the time. We're like, I've seen women who are down like 20 pounds and then the scale goes up by like 3 pounds one time. And they're like, I knew I couldn't do this. And they quit. And I'm like, you're still down like 17 pounds. Like, what do you mean? Where are you going? Why are you quitting? What's happening right now? Because we're just so focused on the number. Now take that same scenario and you're like, yeah, but I'm also going to keep eating healthy and moving my body because it's good for me. So even if the scale isn't moving, I mean, I'm going to figure out why it's not moving and I'm going to fix it, but I'm not going to quit, because even if the scale never moved again, even if I never lost another ounce of fat, I would still feed myself good food and move my body because I care about my health. It's not only about my looks. So do you see how like your why can grow and change and deepen? And so that's why that's a really good journal prompt to come back to on a regular basis. One, solidifying and keeping it fresh in your mind. Why is this so important to me? That's going to keep you going. But two, that why might actually change and evolve. So it is something that you should think about on a regular basis. Now, the third journal prompt, what do I need to do for me today? This is a perfect morning journal prompt to do like every day. Okay. So you get up in the morning, you're having your coffee, you're doing whatever it is that you do, and you're doing your journaling. And it's like, even if you don't journal in the morning, like this is something that you should at least be asking yourself as you're going about planning your day or rolling into your day. What is it that I need to do for me today? Because here's the deal. The rest of the world is going to tell you loud and clear what they want you to do today. And if you haven't already decided the things that have to happen for you, they are not going to happen. They're not going to just, your food's not going to accidentally cook itself or eat itself. Like sometimes we prepare food and we still don't eat it, right? How many times have we meal prepped and just thrown it in the trash because we just get busy and we don't do the thing? So it's knowing what you want and why you want it. Okay, now how are you going to get there? You need to have a plan in place. This is where execution of that plan comes in handy. So you're sitting down and you're just thinking, what are the things I need to do for me today? No matter how busy I get, what is the minimum amount of thing that I'm going to do for me today? I have to feed myself food because I'm a human and humans require daily food intake. I mean, not really, you can fast, but you know what I'm saying. Food's required for living. So if I got to eat, I might as well eat something healthy. What's it going to be? Or maybe you're really getting into your like walking routine. And so it's like, okay, come hell or high water, I'm going to get out and walk. Or unless you're in the Midwest and you can't because your air quality is bad, you're going to just walk up and down your stairs at home. I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to figure it out. You're going to get those steps in. What is it for you? And then just be committed to making it happen. So that's kind of an easy journal prompt, but it's powerful when you're just like, okay, what needs to happen for me today? And that might be really uncomfortable for you to ask yourself that because it might feel selfish. So if you sit down to answer that question in your journal and you're like, oof, this feels gross. Like, what do you mean? What am I going to do for me before I go out and serve everybody else? That feels selfish. Then you probably have a whole lot more journaling to do around that one, girlfriend, because we all know that you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. Airplane, mask, situation, you get it. I won't belabor it. It is what it is. Journal prompt number 4. What support can I get for this now? Not what support can I get for this in 7 years when I finally decide to tackle this. What do you need to help pull this off? Whatever the goal is. I don't care if it's a business goal, a health goal, a relationship goal. If you're struggling to make forward progress on something that is important to you, what support do you need? So we have like the catch-22 of the way that our society is set up right now. Like the downfall of it is that we have way too much to do, obviously. But then the really cool thing is that we actually have access to a ton of resources too. Now we're conditioned to think, oh, I have to just do everything by myself, right? This is the whole conversation that we had last week or a couple of weeks ago about like delegating, right? But that's not all I mean by this. But that can be part of it. But it's like, you don't have to do every single thing in your life that needs to happen. You can have other people do some things for you, especially if even if you're a stay-at-home mom. I know some stay-at-home moms are like, well, I can't outsource things because I'm the stay-at-home mom. That's my job. No, your job isn't to do every single thing for every single human that lives under your roof as a stay-at-home. It's to keep everything happening. So be the CEO of your house instead, which includes delegation. You know what I mean? If you're working outside of the home, you can't literally do all the things. You can't. So acting like, well, because we're women, we can do it all. And it's like, well, you can, but like, why? Why would you want to? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Dudes were never like, hey, I can do all the things. Let me come home and help you around the house, babe. What? I mean, some people have husbands like that. That's amazing. Bless you. But you get what I'm saying? Like, we've put so much pressure on ourselves that we think we have to perform all of the tasks for all of the humans who interact with us in any sort of way, whether they're coworkers, employees, children, husbands, board members of whatever PTO, like, I don't know, whatever. No, you don't have to do all the things. But also, here's the other piece of this. You don't have to know all the things either. And what a relief. Okay. So I'm a little bit of a know-it-all. I'm working on it. Okay. I like to know all the things. I like learning. I like nerding out about any topic that interests me, which that's a problem. I have a lot of topics that interest me. And so I kind of got into this phase of like information overload, especially when I started like, before I even started getting healthy, I started like really like nerding out about my Bible, and I started really nerding out about like personal development. And I was always like learning something. And I was like, if I'm not learning something, then I'm just basically a waste of space. I mean, I was like taking personal development to unhealthy levels. That's a whole thing that needs other personal development to get over, I suppose. But point being, like, you can go on, hey, you can nerd out about anything you want. You can get a really good education for free if you're getting the right resources. So half of what we're exposed to is just not even true. It's trash. So you have to understand like where you're getting knowledge. Okay. But you can nerd out and spend insane amounts of time learning things. It's not exactly the best route. Like, I'm not saying don't learn things. There are certain things you need to learn. You need to learn how to feed yourself. You need to learn how to meal prep. If you don't know how to cook, that's fine. I'm not a good cook either, but you can figure it out. Like, there are some things that we do need to know, but we don't have to know all the things about everything. I am not interested in plumbing. And if my toilet breaks, I'm not YouTubing how to fix it, but it's not going to happen. I'm gonna call a plumber. I'm trying to think of an example. Oh, okay. So like business coaches, I hired business coaches. Do you guys think that I just like quit being a nurse and was just like, oh, I support all of these humans and I'm just going to quit my job? Like, no, I had to have mentorship. I have no idea how to run a business. I was like, well, I've just always got paychecks. Like, how do you run a business? What has to happen? I had no frame of reference for all this stuff. I had to hire somebody to help me. I had to get support, right? And so I'm learning as I go, but trying to learn on my own was getting me nowhere. I did try because business is interesting to me and I like learning about it. The problem is there's so much information. It's kind of like when I listen to you guys talk about like trying to figure out how to lose weight, that's how I felt about trying to build a business. Like I was like, I'm smart. I should be able to figure this out. But there's tons of information out there. I can figure it out. But I just kept getting more and more confused because there is so much information and there's not one right way. And so I was like, I need somebody with a process. Somebody please give me a process. And I hired one woman and it was terrible. And that was a waste of my money. But then I hired another one and she had a process and it worked. And here we all are, right? So I'm really glad that I didn't feel like, oh, little smarty pants, you need to know all the things and you need to do it yourself. Guess what? Now that I know what I'm doing, I still don't do it all myself. I have people who help me do things. My assistant Stephanie is amazing. I would die without Stephanie. Stephanie, thank you. I love you. Like, she helps me so much, even if it's things I know how to do. I can't do it all. So like, what resources do you need? Like, you can go and learn everything there is to know about exercise. But if you're to the point where you're like, I'm doing all the basics and I really need to dial in my programming, go find somebody who's really good at exercise programming for what you want. So when I was trying to get stronger, it's not easy for me to get stronger. I am like a toddler. Like I am just like, I don't put on muscle easily at all. Maybe I would have when I was younger, but I never tried. I waited until like I was rolling into perimenopause before I gave a crap. But anyways, I'm just built like this. So after I had been working out for like 5 years and I was doing vigorous things, I was doing strength training, I was doing CrossFit, I ran a marathon, like I did all these things. And I was like, I really want to put on some massive amounts of muscle. I found a coach who he's a wizard with exercise physiology. Like his programming is amazing. There's a difference between what he's doing with programming and what I can just like Google how to do. So I went and I found support. Maybe you don't need to like hire support for something, Maybe you need like to get your husband on board with something. So, or your best friend. Maybe you need somebody close to you that you can like talk things out with and strategize with and like, okay, this is what I'm trying to do with my finances, or this is what I'm trying to do with my relationship with my kids. And you need like a sounding board and like to have like a trusted person that you can just like talk things out with. We think we have to come up with all of these ideas ourselves. And like, but I'm the mom. I have to be the one who knows. I know my kids best. You do know your kids best. Absolutely. But sometimes talking things out with a trusted person can be really, really helpful in just picking a path and making a decision. Accountability. If you're trying to like stick to something and you're having a hard time getting the ball rolling, roping in somebody who's in your environment that will be a good accountability partner for you. That can't be somebody who you don't care if you blow them off. Rarely can it be a spouse because typically that just makes people mad at each other. Like if you tell your husband, I'm trying to lose weight, I need you to hold me accountable. And then when he's like, why are you eating the Doritos? I thought you wanted to lose weight. Then you're like, are you calling me fat? Like it doesn't, don't put your poor husband in that situation unless you guys like talk to each other in a way where that's going to work out. Conversely, if it's like your bestie who like was in the room while you like delivered your child and like you guys very intimately know each other, are you really going to be like care if you have to tell her that you didn't stick with your plan? No, you're just gonna be like, whatever, she loves me. So pick your accountability partners wisely. But like, I'm just trying to spitball different ways that you can get support. There's a million ways that we can get support now. But usually the thing that's stopping us isn't that we don't have access to support. It's usually like our own ego being like, I want to do it all myself. And I get it. That is my default setting. My default setting is I've got this and I don't need your help. Like me outsourcing help did not come easy to me in the slightest. But now that I've started doing it, I can look back over the last like 5 years and see how insanely different my life is. Freaking insane. My body, my job, my relationships, my finances, literally, like I've changed so many areas of my life. And this is not to be like, you should be like me and change your whole life. This is not what I'm saying. Not like, oh, I'm so awesome. I'm saying I've only been able to do any of this because I had support. I have people in my corner. I have friends who are very supportive that are also really smart about different things that I'm not. And I go to them and I'm like, hey, I don't know anything about this. What do you got? What do you know? Who do you know that I can hire to help me with it? Like, I don't even know where to start looking for whatever this scenario is. Free resources, podcasts, YouTube channels, books, like whatever, paid coaching, like you name it. I've done it from free to tens of thousands of dollars. I have paid for help and I will continuously always have help. Don't go so overboard with getting support in the form of learning that you learn so much you shut down your brain. Because that happens. I've done that where I have to take like, I call it like a tech detox, but for me, it's really an information detox. I don't spend a lot of time on my social media anyways, other than the posts that I make. But I will listen to way too many podcasts or way too many like YouTube sermons or like whatever I'm like passionate about at the time. And then my brain's melting. So find support that's actually going to like move things forward for you, but not in like an obsessive way. Does this make sense, ladies? So let's recap these really fast. Journal prompts, changing our mindset. Here we go. Number 1, what do you want? Explore that. Get real into the nitty gritty about what it is that you even want, because life's going fast. And if you're not actively pursuing the things that you want, you're on autopilot, boo. You're going to get to the end of the road and be like, what did I even do with my life? Don't be that old person. Know what you want right now and let's go after it. Okay. Number 2, why do you want those things? Do you want those things because they're important to you? Do you want those things because your parents told you that you should want them? Do you want those things because society tells you that you should want them? Or do they really matter? And if they do, why? Why do they matter? Why is it important? Number 3, what do I need to do for me today before the rest of the world gets all my time and attention. Okay. And then number 4, what support do I need to make this happen? Because this really does matter to me quite a bit. And no woman who's out conquering the world is doing it as a one-woman show. The secret is every woman who's out there crushing it that I know has support in one form or another. Collaboration, support, guidance, whatever. So what kind of support do you need to get out there and get after having the life that you want, in the body that you want, with the relationships that you want, whatever the thing is? I hope that this was helpful. If you guys play with this, you know the drill. I want to hear from you. Shoot me a message on Facebook or something and let me know if you play with any of these. And if you have some aha moments, I would love to hear about it. All right. I'll catch you chicks next week.